MaXXXine is a movie I was definitely looking forward to, especially in the latter half of this movie year. I just saw Pearl this year, saw X last year, love Pearl, liked X. I am really excited walking into this movie theater. Going into the theater, I know I'm going to see Mia Goth. I know Giancarlo Esposito in this wild ass wig is going to be a part of the proceedings. I also see that Kevin Bacon is in there. When is Kevin Bacon ever not a good addition? When is Bacon ever not a good addition? You put bacon on your set. That's not what we're here for. So I was really highly anticipating this film, and it's also the first A24 trilogy. All types of interesting elements going into this film. And when I sat down and the movie started playing, there were definitely some elements of this film that I absolutely enjoyed. The 80s aesthetic is there to the max. Big hair, big personalities. We in Hollywood. We're walking the streets. We're looking at different aesthetics that we come to know from the 80s, especially things just as cool as a video store. You guys remember like the Hollywood videos or the blockbusters, but no, back then there was just a little mom and pop shops. Maybe Blockbuster was out back then, I don't know. But there are the little mom and pop shops where you just go in, you get your VHSs, and you have a conversation with the dude at the counter. Hey, what do you recommend? I don't know, man. What do you like? And then you go through that whole rigmarole. So the movie has a lot going for it in that aspect. I also like some of the references to classic 80s horror. All that stuff was really cool. Unfortunately for me in particular, that's kind of where the positives end. I was really bored during this movie. The story in it itself, I really felt was weak because we spread ourselves too thin. First, we're tackling Maxine's acting career. And this is something that was really interesting when it was introduced in the film. We go from, hey, I don't want to be an adult film star anymore. I want to go into real acting because that's where the money is. We all know Maxine's attitude towards being a star.
You're a fucking movie star.
At the same time, what's happening is the Night Stalker, this serial killer, which is actually a real story that actually happened in Hollywood during the 80s. And we're going into that and adding that as part of the backdrop, the background to Maxine's dealings in Hollywood. We're also dealing with Kevin Bacon's character, who's a private investigator, trying to get to Maxine and services someone else who's looking for her. All these things are happening at the same time, and unfortunately, I felt like they weren't necessarily handled the best. When we get to the Night Stalker part of the film, it's literally just the background. Nothing really comes of that in the movie. It doesn't really add any significance to what Maxine is doing at all. When we talk about the private investigator, some of that actually does play into what's going on, but it's happened so sporadically throughout the film where Kevin Bacon is chasing Maxine literally sometimes and trying to get her to meet with him, to meet with someone else, and that story never comes to fruition. It just kind of ends abruptly. And even when we're talking about the acting and Maxine's pursuit of acting, it's kind of touch and go. It's like she gets there, she does the audition, she kills the audition, and we spend the rest of the time with her maybe going to film it, maybe not. She shows up to set, she doesn't film. She shows up to set, oh, here are your lines. Nothing really happens with that acting side of the story. That also feels like background. Nothing feels important. We don't care about what's going on with the Night Stalker because Maxine don't give a damn about what's happening with the Night Stalker. We don't give a damn about what's happening with the private investigator because Maxine don't give a damn about what's happening with the private investigator. So it just all kind of feels meaningless at some points. I felt like I was just waiting for this movie to end at some point because it didn't seem to have any kind of momentum at all. It just felt like it was just slowly pacing itself until it ended. Getting to the ending, it just kind of like, hey, we're ready to end this movie now. It doesn't even have a good build up to us getting to that climax. And once we get to the climax, it's underwhelming. A lot of people are really going to like this movie. They're going to find it very entertaining. They're going to take that 80s aesthetic that the movie had. They're going to take Mia Goth and her performance. They're going to take Giancarlo Esposito and his wild ass wig. And they're going to turn all of that and say, hey, I had a phenomenal time with this movie. And I get it. And I love that you had that experience. I didn't have that experience. And that's why my rating for this movie is This is definitely somebody's favorite movie. This is going to be someone's favorite movie of the year. They're going to type up their review. They're going to be very excited about it. I have some friends who really like this film. And yeah, it's somebody's favorite movie. It just ain't mine. So what do you think about this film? Did you have a good time? Do you feel like the X trilogy ended on a good note, if it is in fact ending? Let me know in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys next time.